Jets Nation, I don't say this often, but I am pissed off right now. And this was a game with so many talking points tonight for the New York Jets. Zach Wilson's performance, the defense coming in and out. There is a lot to talk about in this game. I will get to Robert Saleh. I will get to Zach Wilson. I will get to the Jets defense. I will get to all of that in just a moment. And if you're joining us and you want to vent, please rip apart the comments. We'd love to hear from you during this live stream. If you're joining us after the live stream, please give us a like and a subscribe. But I just want to go off on something here. And I usually don't want to do this because I am someone that's been a football referee. For those of you who don't know about me, I've done this in the past, and I've been a high school football referee. And I understand how difficult a job it is just doing that, let alone the professional athletes. But the NFL has to have accountability. When the players do something illegal on the field or off the field, they get fined. The referees, what happens to them? That's what I want to know, because the New York Jets got hosed, and you cannot tell me any differently in this game. The Jets got hosed, America got hosed, and football fans got hosed because they had an opportunity for an incredible ending. They had an opportunity for a great game. But instead, this game was not decided by Patrick Mahomes. This game was not decided by Zach Wilson in the fourth quarter. This game was not decided by Andy Reid. This game was not decided by Robert Saleh. It was decided by the officials, because these officials were absolutely horrendous this entire game. And what drove me nuts is how bad this cost the Jets. First of all, just look at the last drive. 3rd and 22. Patrick Mahomes scrambles for an unbelievable first down. But on that play, C.J. Mosley gets called down the field when Patrick Mahomes isn't even attempting to throw the football. Meanwhile, Jermaine Johnson on the pass rush is getting so blatantly held by the left tackle, he's literally throwing his hands up trying to get, hey, I'm being held, I'm being held, I'm being freaking held. And instead, oh no, it's legal. Play continues, play continues. And then another 3rd and forever. Pass thrown. Interception by Michael. Oh, wait. There's laundry on the field. It is defensive holding on Sauce Gardner. There is so much wrong with NFL officiating. It drives me nuts because, again, the Jets, they've only gotten hosed by NFL officiating. I don't know how many times in the last couple of years. The JFM play with the Patriots last year on the pick six. Oh, how about 2 weeks ago in Dallas when John Franklin Myers was pushed into Dak Prescott, but that's a personal foul on him. Drive continues. They score. Game's over. And then the NFL comes out later that week and goes, hey, our bad. We messed up. Yeah, that wasn't the right call. Well, it's too late. Game's over. Now, that play didn't necessarily cost the Jets a game. This play, I know people are going to argue, well, it didn't technically cost the Jets the game. It gave the Jets, cost them the chance to have an opportunity. Because if they get off the field there, Zach Wilson gets the ball. Does he score? Who knows? Do the Jets send it to overtime? Do the Jets muck it up? But at least give the opportunity for the Jets. At least give the opportunity for the fans watching at home. Instead, while there's blatant holding going on every freaking play on the Chiefs offensive line, and I get that great teams get calls, and I get great quarterbacks get phantom calls, but that one was so egregious because I'm going to take you inside refereeing 101, okay? This is what really pissed me off about that play. And I'm going to go deep into this. Because as a referee, as the side referee, like that referee was in position, if you see a penalty, you throw the flag immediately. But no, They wait. They wait. Oh, Michael Carter makes an interception, and then you throw it after the interception. With the timing of that flag, I'm thinking, oh, is this an OPI for maybe the offense? Like, was there a push off? No, it's on a play that was down the field on Sauce Gardner. Here's something you guys don't probably know about officials. The reasons you throw a flag are twofold. The first and very basic option of the flag is to signal a penalty, right? But here's what a lot of people don't know about flags in football. Why do you throw it immediately? Well, because you throw it at the spot of the foul, so you have a marker. You have a marker in on the field, so you know if you have to count off or mark where the penalty occurred, you have a spot on the field. You do not wait until the play is over. You do not wait until the action is over. You see it, bang, flag out on the spot. You don't wait until after the hold, 5 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field, ball's up, Michael Carter interception, and then when he's coming down, flag, that looks horrible. You have to understand the mechanics. If you're going to call that play, and first of all, it's late in the ball game. You don't make these tic-tac calls late in a game. Let them play. If Sauce Gardner grabbed his jersey and spun him around and it disrupted the route, you throw the flag. If Sauce Gardner dragged him to the ground, you throw the flag. They were hand fighting, and you set a precedent as a crew. You were going to let that chippiness in the secondary go. You didn't call it all game. Then all of a sudden on the last drive of the game, oh, we got a holding. Oh, a defensive holding on Sauce Gardner. I mean, come on, NFL. And you know what's going to happen? The NFL is going to get roasted about this. But what's only going to happen is the league will then send out a memo and be like, you know what? We were wrong. That wasn't a penalty. We're sorry, Jets. But, that wasn't a penalty. It doesn't matter. You're not going to replay the game. You're not going to change the outcome of the game. You and this officiating crew robbed the chance for a great game, and you did not let the players on the field decide it. If the Jets got the ball back and Zach Wilson screwed up, fine, it was on the Jets. If the Kansas City Chiefs blew it on a punt or missed the field goal, fine, that's on the Chiefs. You took the game away from the players. You took the game away from the coaches. You don't do that as an official. Your job as an official is to police the game fairly. And if you set a precedent throughout a game where we are not going to call close things in the secondary, we're going to let them be a little physical. You establish early in the game, hey, we're not allowing that hand fighting. We're going to bang you for pass interference or holding if you continue to do that. They didn't do that. And meanwhile, the Jets defensive linemen are throwing their hands up. Hey, freaking look, we're being held here. We're being held here. We're being held. And the refs are like, I don't see anything. Like, the play's over now, so we're not going to call anything. So these referees were horrible. And it's frustrating because it's, once again, as a Jet fan, it is hard to explain this to other fan bases, where it's like you feel like the Jets can't get a freaking break. They can't get a freaking break. They lose Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the season. They have this thing happen on Monday night. And the sad part is the Jets had an opportunity to shock the world and stun the Chiefs and basically keep their season afloat, because I've said the Jets at bare minimum need to be 2-4 going into their bye to keep their season afloat. Realistically, they have to go beat the Broncos next week. Now, I'm feeling better about that after tonight. Do I feel fully confident? No, but it's still, they have to go on the road and win a football game, and this was an opportunity for them to make a statement, and they were not able to. And I'm just going to take a quick pause from my rant, come up for a little bit of air. I'm just seeing if Robert Saleh has made any comments yet in the post game, and because I have a feeling Robert's on the defensive holds on the foul. I'm not going to comment that. Said he was upset. Come on, I don't care if you're going to get fined, Robert. Fucking rip the officials. That was horrible. Robert Saleh, if Zach Wilson plays like that, we're going to win a lot of football games. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I'm going to stay quiet on Jermaine. I'm sorry, Robert Saleh, but you have an opportunity to go off. Like, this is BS. Woody Johnson will pay your fines. Like, you have to be irate about that because you have to understand, Robert Saleh, this season goes south. Your job's on the line. I hate to tell you that, but look, I'll give a quick summary before I get to your questions. I see a lot of them. Here are my thoughts on Zach really quickly. I thought Zach played a lot better. I give Nathaniel Hackett a lot of credit. I suggested jet sweeps and more trickery. He did it. They put Gibson on the field more. They incorporated Ruckert more. There's a lot of things I like from Nathaniel Hackett tonight. And I do think I have to give Hackett credit because, again, they spent months trying to build this offense for Aaron, and now they're having to readjust it for Zach, and it feels like they're getting a feel for what works well with Zach. Zach played really well. Again, critical fumble, bad timing, but overall gave the Jets a shot. This is the best I think I've seen him look in a football game in his career. Now am I all of a sudden going to say he's a franchise quarterback? No. But do I feel like he's at least bought himself more time as a quarterback for this team? Yes. And I think you saw tonight some of the nice things that he brings to the table and some of the reasons why, as much as we Jet fans want the Jets to kick him to the curb, why this team is so enamored with the athleticism, the arm talent. Like, there's a reason they fell in love with this kid. And I think you saw a lot of those positive attributes tonight. There's a couple of things too. Like, I felt Zach played well. The fumble came at a terrible time. There's a couple of things in the offense I was ashamed. When Izzy's healthy, he's got to get a majority of snaps. You saw Michael Carter get more snaps. Look, Breece Hall's got to get more touches. I know they're trying to keep him fresh, but the Jets season, we're a quarter of the way through the season now. The Jets need to get as much out of Breece Hall as possible. The fact that he's not getting more carries, and look, I'm done with Dalvin Cook. Give those carries to Izzy when he comes back. Dalvin Cook doesn't have any burst anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. And look, Breece Hall needs to get more touches. Like, the Breece Hall, he is one of your best players. I know Garrett Wilson's the most dynamic player on this offense, but you have got to figure out a way to give Breece Hall carries because he is one of your most dynamic players. And if you're going to win football games down the stretch, you need to give him the ball. And he had 6 carries. I know the game plan was a lot of up-tempo throwing, which helped. But look, put Breece out there on passing plays. I mean, let's see. Breece Hall, 6 carries, 56 yards, 9 yards a carry. Can we give him double-digit carries in a game? Can we give 5 of those carries from Dalvin Cook and the 5 for 16, 3 yards a carry out there? I mean, come on. Like, give him more opportunity. And another thing I wanted to go into before I get to your comments is my thoughts on this defense. I think this defense is very good, but I'm going to stop calling it until I see otherwise a championship caliber defense or an elite defense. They're a very good defense, but the problem is very good defenses don't allow very long third and long plays. Very good defenses don't get behind the 8 ball and on the first 3 drives allow Kansas City to score 17 points. An elite defense is able to turn turnovers into points. An elite defense is able to convert because, again, while the Jets did force turnovers tonight, once again, C.J. Mosley redeemed himself a little bit, but dropped a criminal interception. It probably would have been a touchdown. You had another dropped interception on another play. This defense is very good, but I am done saying that this is an elite defense. Look, Bryce Huff needs to get more playing time. I'm sick and tired of seeing like all these snaps going to Carl Lawson. I'm glad Will McDonald made a guest appearance, and while he was on the field, was making some nice plays. And the other thing too that bothers me a little bit about Robert Saleh, and this kind of goes to his press conference where he's not going to comment on the officials. Look, You have t-shirts and freaking logos in the building that say AGNB, all gas, no brake. When the Jets have that football and Conklin drops the criminal touchdown, again, bad drop by Conklin. But in that situation, you go for it. Worst case scenario, Kansas City gets the ball back deep in their own territory. But you're getting your quarterback, who has been atrocious for 2 weeks, into a rhythm. You could build confidence. But the more criminal one was the 4th and 1 where Zerline, who I'm not going to bash, has been great, just hit the upright, was close. But in that situation, 4th and 1, either way, if you miss, you're giving the ball back with great field position. Go for it on that play. I know you don't love Zach Wilson, but can we give Breece Hall a 4th and 1 carry? Like, give this kid an opportunity. They're cooking because, again, if you convert, 2 things. You give Zerline an easier field goal if you don't score a touchdown, but more importantly, you milk time off the clock. So if you somehow don't get in the end zone, Kansas City's not going to get the ball back at any point. So for Robert Saleh, I think the coaching staff, Nathaniel Hackett, did a really great job tonight. Now, I think Aaron Rodgers, I wonder how much help he had in the game plan this week. It was great to see him back. But Robert Saleh, to me, this was not a good game for him for a couple of reasons. Number one, your specialty is supposed to be this defense. This defense is supposed to be a top 5 unit. They did not look like that. They look like a really good unit. They look like a talented unit, but they never get a defensive touchdown. They drop a lot of interceptions. And how many times have we seen this defense give up 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 20, for God's sakes, and they can't get guys off the field? They just can't get guys off the field, and it is absolutely inferior. I'm going to say they're a great defense, but I'm not going to call them an elite defense until they prove me otherwise. I'm not going to call them a championship caliber, because everyone keeps saying they have a championship caliber defense. They have a championship caliber defense. They have a championship caliber defense. Well, championship caliber defense had a couple of times to step up tonight, and they didn't in key spots. And also, a championship caliber defense doesn't let a team run down the field and score 17 points in the first quarter. That is not a championship defense. And look, this defense has to play better. I thought that they played well, but a lot of missed tackles tonight. And for a lot of it, like, I don't know if you felt about me, but outside of Quincy Williams and Bryce Huff, like, was there a Jet defender you're like, oh my God, they had an amazing game tonight? I mean, I thought Sauce was good. They barely threw at him. CJ, of course, hot and cold as always. I mean, outside of them, like, who really had a great game? Like, I don't think anyone in this defense had a great game, and they had opportunities. And look, they had a good stretch in this game. They kept it close, but when push came to shove late in the game, they weren't able to make a play. So we'll have a lot to talk about. We can talk more about the offense. Let's get into this. G and Carlo, the NFL and the refs are a joke. Very, very frustrating from Stephen T, who's got the Zach Wilson's good logo. Totally true, but not mad at all. We gained so much from this loss. I feel great. Billy, like, I love your positivity, and it's great. But again, I get, like, I feel like we're kind of like, there's going to be a Jet fan like you, Billy, who we came in this game preparing to get our, waxed. And even the analysts dropped that, hey, we were doing all the Taylor Swift prep notes. We thought the Jets are going to get blown out. So I'm glad the Jets made a game. I thought they played well. I think they made some statements. But at the end of the day, this is still a loss. This is still an L. They're still 1-3. They're still in the basement of the AFC East. Like, the opportunity was there, but they just couldn't do it. Roll back the game. You could see before the 3rd down, 20, they go up to Mahomes. They say, oh, yeah, I didn't know if I saw that, but it felt like that. Again, like, I don't think there's ever an NFL conspiracy, but if you were one of them, I could believe that. Yeah, decided by Taylor Swift. The money talks all the time against the Cowboys. Not that it matter. We're terrible. Zach looked like a solid. Look, Zach's got the biggest thing with Zach in his career, though, Billy, is the consistency. And it was great to see it for a game, but again, made a killer fumble in a key spot when the Jets had an opportunity. Zach played his best game as a Jet. That's my opinion. I think it was his best game he's ever played. I love the confidence. I love they built the offense. Now let's see him do it again. He's got to do it consistently because Zach Wilson, we've seen it. Like, he's very hot and cold. We don't see a lot of the hot, but we saw the hot tonight. Can he continue to build? That's going to be the key. If Zach Wilson comes out and the Jets beat the Broncos next week, and Zach Wilson looks similar to this quarterback, maybe not even as good, but doesn't turn the football over, makes big plays, and the Jets win, I will feel a lot better going into the second half of this season than I did a week ago. But again, he's got to show that he can put it together and build and build and build. And so far, we haven't seen that. Yeah, I thought he played better than Mahomes. But again, Mahomes, when they needed it, made the big play, and Zach had the fumble. Melvin, I feel you, man. I feel you. I think this is too. Melvin, as always, they took the chains off Zach. I agree. Best game Zach Wilson's ever played. Me and you, Melvin, were sharing a brain. Eagles fan, feel your pain. The Chiefs are the 90s Cowboys. You play them and the refs. It feels like you played the Cowboys with the refs too. I mean, we got hosed against the Cowboys. I mean, we got hosed against the Patriots. I mean, when is there, like, I am dead serious. If anyone can tell me in the chat, when was there a time the Jets got like a game deciding call go their way, or a major call go their way, or they get a major penalty? Like, I don't remember like a pass interference that turned a game around for the Jets. I don't remember a rough in the passer. God knows I can't remember the last time the Jets got a freaking rough in the passer penalty against their own quarterback. Like, seriously, like I can think of off the top of my head like 5 or 6 in the last 2 years, the last 20-something games where the refs have screwed the Jets or put them in a horrible situation. I cannot think of one. If you can think of one, tell me. Like, please. Look, James, I don't think it is, but man, like, if you feel that way, I that's the other thing. The NFL doesn't want people to think the games are rigged, or that like this was not a good look for the NFL, because you cannot tell me, like, it almost felt like Super Bowl 40. Like, this was a game that felt like it was orchestrated up to the top. Like, this game just felt like I'm sorry, but like, if this was the opposite and that was like the Chiefs defense out there, they wouldn't have called the defensive pass interference. Oh my God, how many holds would there have been on their for Frank Clark? Oh, holding on the offense. Oh, holding on the offense. Look, I don't give a shit, Melvin. Rip the freaking refs. Woody, you know what? Have Woody pay your fine. He's got plenty of money. You know what? And I love, like, again, the reason I fell in love with Saul as a coach was that freaking fire he had on the sideline in San Francisco. You saw it tonight when he was pissed off. I want to see more of that freaking fire. And again, he comes to and I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to be like the CEO as a head coach. But again, like, you also have to, I think, make a comment to make a statement so that the NFL and the NFL officiating will look at your games a bit differently. Because if you make a statement about it, you know, if you make another bad call against the Jets, they're going to bring it up again. And it's going to look really bad for the league when you're just saying, oh, I'm not going to comment. Like, call them out. Call them freaking out about this. You're not going to get a change until you call them out about this. Like, also send a message to your locker room that you're pissed and you're not going to accept this. Sauce Gardner just got hosed on a terrible call. Jermaine Johnson say, you know what, guys? You're right. You got screwed. I got your back. The hell with the fine. I'm going to say whatever I freaking want. Like, again, I think he could have won a lot of the locker room over with that. I think he could have gained a lot of credibility with this fan base, which he desperately needs. But man, I mean, George, I can't, again, like, if you feel like games are orchestrated, like, this is a night that's not going to turn anything different from you. Yeah, I want to see him build too, and I liked how I want to see Hardman more involved. I want to see Izzy more involved as well. Izzy should be back next week. Let's put it this way: I don't want to see freaking Dalvin cooking. I want to see Izzy get those touches because he's at least got some explosive. Breece Hall, if if Breece Hall doesn't get at least 15 carries in a game, that's been a bad game. And look, I give the offensive line. I think the offensive line's a lot better. Now, I think the weakest right now is Becton at left tackle. There's a couple times he struggled against the rush. And look, he's always had kind of that MMO. But Vera Tucker's looked really good at right tackle. Joe Tippmann's looked really good at right guard. Now, again, McGovern's struggling at center. I think Tomlinson's serviceable. But these, to me, are your 5 best offensive linemen. You have them out there. So I do think they're also starting to do that well. And look, they had chances after the fumble. I get it, but that was a killer because if the Jets get 15 more yards, they can kick a field goal, and that changes the play of the game. Izzy needs to get touches. Cook doesn't deserve. And again, I think you're starting to see a shift because Michael Carter got a lot more touches, and of course, Carter looked great. Said when they threw it to him on that critical 3rd down, and Michael, just a bit of advice. If you're going to yell at the running back coach and make a big stink about it on the sideline, make sure you make a play the next game because you're not going to get any sympathy points from a fan base because you're like screaming, "Give me the ball!" Well, we gave you the ball and you dropped it. Too much Cook, not enough. Yeah, again, Breece, I know they're trying to keep him on a pitch clock, but you saw it tonight. And again, to me, and again, you can tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but this season especially has felt a lot of almost. The Jets are just there, but they can't grasp that ring. It's inches from them. That Patriot game, opportunity after opportunity, the Hail Mary, it was there, but they just couldn't get it. Then you have the game tonight. You have the dropped interception by CJ. It's almost there. Then the Breece Hall carry. You're I do not know how he didn't make it to the end zone. I thought he should have tried to stick to the sideline. He tries to cut it back. Conklin falls down. If Conklin makes that block, Breece is gone. Game's different. It's the Jets, and I think it was just making it more frustrating for the coaching staff and this fan base is in these games. They're right there. They're one thing away from turning the game or changing the outcome, and they just can't do it. Look, I'm not blaming Zerline. I'm sorry. Zerline, again, that wasn't a bad kick, just hit the upright. I would have gone for it. Look, I blame more Robert Saleh. They should have been more aggressive on that 4th down. Again, Greg's got a great leg, but you also have to understand it's at night, it's cooler, it's windier, it's harder to kick in those conditions than at a 1 o'clock game when you get the heat out there, the ball travels a little bit further. I would have gone for on that down. So I don't blame Zerline at all. They should have gone for it. Great picture, Rob. I'm the only getting the love it deserves. Started Rocket, but I think this offensive line is great. I still think Beckton's struggling a bit at left tackle, but you saw too they were keeping it back into chip. They were keeping Ruckert into chip. They had 2 picks and a safety. Well, look, they had the 2 picks, but again, there was elite defense. I'm saying, I'm saying it's still a really good defense, but they allowed them to score 70 points right off the rip to the point where he thought this was going to be a blowout. They allowed the team to go down the field. Look, they're a really good defense, but if you want to be the best defense in the NFL, you shut people down and you don't give them an opportunity. Sal choked in the 4th and 1, and again, he choked, preventing him from ripping it 4th and 1. I don't even know if I'd give it to Wilson on the 4th and 1, but I would have at least tried, give it to Breece. I mean, you got to give opportunity. I agree with Melvin. Oh my God. I tweeted out today, CJ Mosley couldn't catch a cold. How many CJ Mosley, I think, has to be one of the most frustrating players for the Jets. And it's funny because when you hear him talked about in league circles, it's funny, when analysts talk about other teams, he's such a great linebacker, Pro Bowler. And I think many Jet fans how's he a Pro Bowler? Because CJ Mosley does a lot of good things out there. He's a good tackler. But there are way too many times he gets burnt. The Pacheco one took a bad ankle and looked like he gave up halfway through that. Then how many times has he been on a play where he gets his hands on the football? I mean, I've counted at least 3 or 4 times even this year but he gets his hand on the ball and just can't hold on. Like he doesn't make that big play and he doesn't turn the coverage around. Like he's not great in coverage. So Brees has to get absolutely Melvin. He's got to get 15 touch a game. Not after today. Maybe down the road, but not today. Yeah, if the D gave us the ball back, I'm sure we would have won. That's the thing. We don't know. Like that's the thing today is like we don't know because the refs didn't give us an opportunity. If I think Jet fans, if the score was exactly the same, but Zach Wilson had an opportunity late in this game, yeah, there'd be frustration, but you'd have an answer. You'd have like closure. It's like, okay, Zach got a shot. He either didn't make it, he had an opportunity, or something crazy happened. And then we can discuss that. But I think what makes it even more fair, the Jets never got a shot when they should have. They should have gotten multiple shots. And the referees took that away from them. Yeah, I know, Melvin. I don't know if that stat's actually legit. It feels like it, though. I mean, I mean, Jesus, I don't think we've gotten one since the Obama administration, it feels like. Bottom line to the loss, defense gives over 200 yards rushing, mostly show that picks. Yeah, and look, like, again, like, I don't want to fully blame the defense. And yes, Kansas City is a machine. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was I thought they were great in pass defense, but their run defense was absolutely shredded tonight. That to me was just absolutely infuriating. Seeing Pacheco go off for 115 yards on the ground, like that was just absolutely infuriating. And the fact that he did those stupid, here's another thing, officials. So you're going to call every little celebration a taunting penalty. Here's another thing. So Pacheco goes down and starts doing push-ups basically after he gets a first down for like 5-10 seconds. That's not a delay of game or a celebration. It's like, come on, man. Yeah, the Zach fumble was crucial. Look, it was an opportunity. The Jets were driving. They had kind of slowed a little offensively. They were getting some of the momentum back, and it was just, it's just bad. Yeah, Melvin, I agree. I think that this was I think this was Hackett's best game. I think he called a great game. I thought he did an exceptional job. And look, the offense looked differently. And I have to tip my hat and give credit. Like when I look at the coaching staffs, like I come out of this game with a lot more questions about Saleh than I do Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett, it's like, and I don't want to make excuses, but when you were building this offense for Aaron Rodgers for 6 months, and then all of a sudden 4 weeks in, you have to change it, and you have a young quarterback that's still learning the system, and you have a short week into Dallas, then you have to face Bill Belichick. Like, I feel like there's been just enough time where now Nathaniel is starting to tweak it to Zach's skill set and what works for him, and it's looking a lot better. And the best coaches, I think, do this. And that's why I have hope with Nathaniel Hackett, because you saw him tweak the offense to fit what Zach Wilson does. My biggest problem with LaFleur was LaFleur had his system. It was either you fit into the system or you didn't. He didn't adjust based off of Zach's skill set. It was, no, you're going to run my system exactly how I want it, or it's not going to work. And, well, it didn't work. Yeah, Cook looks cooked. Yeah, can we get that money back? Like, anyone want to take Dalvin Cook? And it's funny, too, because, I mean, everyone's screaming for the Jets to trade for Kirk Cousins. Like, and I'm curious to see if a certain ESPN analyst is going to all of a sudden tomorrow be claiming for Kirk Cousins, because I don't know. Kirk Cousins threw 2 pick sixes today. I know they're on 4, and it looks easier for the Vikings to trade Kirk Cousins, but like, look, I still think Kirk's probably an upgrade over Zach, but man, like everyone that was like screaming, we got to trade for a quarterback. It's like, look, to me, Zach's the best option you got right now. There's a reason that everyone else is out there. Yeah, Nick, I agree. That touchdown should have been 100%. O-line looked better. Yeah, the O-line look, Timmon looks really good. Like, of all the people, I mean, AVT looks great at right tackle. Timmons been great. Like, through the last 2 games, if you had to ask me who the top 2 offensive linemen for the Jets are, AVT 1, Tittman 2. Tittman, again, kudos. playing also out of position, playing guard, never played guard, was a center all throughout college, asked to play guard, a new position, and he is doing exceptionally well. That big run that Brees had, you saw he was able to pull out of space, get onto the linebacker, and block him to open up that hole. Yeah, like that's a good thing, Junior. If we're taking the moral victories, which I freaking hate at this point, like it does seem like this team is together and this team does have a lot of energy. And look, the biggest thing you were worried about is seeing this team fracture, like this team get bludgeoned to death, yelling on the sideline, not together, not believing in Zach. And look, for at least now, I think that they feel a lot comfortable that they can win games. And you hope that this game is a springboard saying, look, if we didn't get hosed by the refs, and if we had played our game, if we didn't make so many mistakes, we could have beaten that team. And that's probably the best team in football. So you have to take that and say, okay, we got to go beat the Broncos. You know what? The Eagles, they won today, but they had to go toe-to-toe with the Commanders. They haven't looked this great. Like, let's take this, and somehow if we can turn this into 2 wins before our bye, that's money. Yeah, I want that money back too. Yeah, but yeah, like Conklin though, it's weird with him. I want him over. I want Rucker to Uzama. Uzama had the nice catch. Conklin is weird because again, he had a couple catches, some big conversions. He had a nice one along the near sideline where he took a short pass and was able to convert for a first down. But yeah, no, Rucker's got to get more playing time. I mean, you saw him in the offense today. Look, I think Rucker by the end of the year is going to be tight end 1. I really do. I got to think, was Salmon inactive today? I have to double check that, Nick, because I know one of the D tackles was because Will McDonald was in there. That's another thing. Will McDonald cannot be inactive again. Like, even though he didn't get sacked, I saw a lot more pressure from him than Carl Lawson. And at this point, I would try to trade Carl. I've been on this channel saying that I would try to trade Carl Lawson. First thing I'd try to do is give Bryce Huff an extension. Like, make sure that guy isn't going anywhere. Like, if I'm the Jets, pay Bryce Huff. Billy, tell us about these positives. Look, with this kind of effort, we should blow them out. I mean, look, I think it was a good effort. And the positives, Billy, Quincy Williams is a stud. Bryce Huff's a stud. I think the Hackett, like, I have a lot more faith in Hackett showing he can adjust. I think that this offense looks better. And look, the offensive line looks a lot better. I think those are some of the positives you take out of this. The biggest thing is, can they generate a pass rush? And really outside Bryce Huff, that's why I say you got to give McDonald more of a shot, because I'm not seeing any pass rush from Carl Lawson. I'm not seeing any, and I love Jermaine Johnson. I think he's a great defensive end, but I'm not seeing a lot of pass rush from him. I would be kicking John Franklin Myers more inside on these pass rushing situations, but I want to see more from the kid. Which brings us to the next one too. That's a great question, James. And that was one that was pissing me off, especially late in the game. They're playing so much. Like, this is a team that loves to play zone. Then all of a sudden, like on that last drive, they decided to play man with a mobile core. It didn't make sense to me. It really didn't. Here's the problem, I think, James, is who are you going to have to spy him? Because I don't think the Jets have a line. You're going to have CJ Mosley spy Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be able to catch him. The one guy I think you could do that with is Quincy, but Quincy's so good in pass coverage. You're probably having him on Kelsey. You're having him on one of the tight ends on the back out of the backfield. I mean, you're having Jamin Sherwood be the shadow. I mean, are you putting Ashton Davis as a third safety in there? Like, Ashton Davis was a nice pick. I think he needs a little bit more playing time too. But the problem is I agree with your idea, James. I just don't think they have the guy. Yeah, I went on a whole rant about this, Jacob. I don't think he's a bust. I see like the potential with him. But again, if the Jets were going to take this guy and he wasn't going to get on the field, it's a terrible pick. I've always said the reason the Jets were on the clock so long was they were trying to trade out of there. No one wanted to come up. But if that's the case, I would have taken one of the great tight ends. I would have reached for a receiver. I would have reached for an offensive lineman. Like, get someone that fits some of the depth on this team. Maybe not a receiver at the time, because you also had Corey Davis, who you didn't expect to freaking retire in training camp. But, I mean, look, I would try to reach for an offensive lineman there in retrospect. But I agree. Like, he has to be on the field. Like, I don't want to see Carl Lawson more. Put him on the field. Yeah, I don't know about cheating though. Uh, yeah, hit the like button, give us a subscribe new to the channel. If you missed our rant earlier, go back and check that about the referees. Yeah, I mean the whole NFL script. Yeah, like at least they're scoring some touchdowns, which is a positive too. Let's see. Uh, I hope I'm saying your name right. Is it Chile Hyman Hin? Chile I'm Hein. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. But appreciate you giving us a like, giving us a subscribe, and commenting. They look like a glimpse of college act. They need to build on this performance. So look, like this is the reason like everyone's killing the Jets. And like I heard all week from analyst after analyst after analyst. And I was going to talk about this Friday, but again, guys, I didn't have time this week. I apologize. But I said the Jets, they weren't going to move off of Zach. Like there's a reason they picked him here. It's because they saw these flashes and a lot of it's confidence. And look, my biggest thing is Zach hasn't had a confidence boost. And two big things from this game I think are going to help. Number one, you had the Jets fans freaking cheering for him for once. And number two, he can go and say, okay, I did it. I was successful in an NFL game doing this. It's playing easy and free. And look, I think with Rodgers there, maybe, again, he wasn't on the sideline, but just having that presence there, maybe someone that could phone down to him on the sideline, it would help his confidence. Crazy we beat up and then took the wire and lose to the Pats. Yeah, the Pats, man, that game's going to drive me nuts, Melvin. I'm not even going to think about that, or else I'm going to get really freaking angry. More angry there, yeah. We spot every team with the lead. We always play from behind. That's the other thing, Nick. Like, again, you bring up a great point, and this is why I say they're a very good defense. They're not elite defense. Elite defense, you know what you do? You get on the field 3 and out, or you let them get 1 first down. You get the ball back to your offense. They let the Cowboys go right down the field against them. They let the Patriots move the ball on them. They let tonight Kansas City. I mean, I give this team a lot of credit for fighting back and making a game because I was like many Jet fans. Like it's 70-0. I'm like, Jesus, I'm gonna have to sit through this for the next 2.5 hours with nothing but Jets jokes. The Jets getting absolutely bludgeoned to death. Zach potentially playing horrible, and then God knows how many Kansas City. I mean, look, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. I hope you do. I have a Twitter account at The Rich Sports Talk. I have a personal account at The Nolan Rich. But I mean, I thought I had a lot of fun tonight. Like one of the things I did was I did the. I hope again, if you did this, I don't think any of you would be here probably, but I came up with the Sunday Night Football drinking game for tonight with Taylor Swift. And I think I did a pretty good job here. And it actually went pretty good with the list. So here's what I did tonight, and I think it would have been perfect. It was the Jets fan drinking game for Sunday Night Football. Drink every time Taylor Swift is shown. Taylor Swift is mentioned. Zach Struggles mentioned, and Aaron Rodgers shown. Well, 3 of the 4 were shown all the freaking time. And then finish your drink when the defense drops a pick 6. We'll have had one of those. Zach Wilson interception. None of those. But welcome to New York is played. I mean, Jesus. Like, I think you would have had a lot of fun. JJ into one player. Yeah, Lazard was very good. And there's a reason you see why they signed him. Jermaine Johnson is what he is. I think he's a very good run defender. And again, he's someone that is going to get sacks based off effort, maybe not with explosiveness. But I think they're, again, developmental players. And I think the thing the Jets want is them to reach their peak by next year. But, man, like, I need to see more of them than Carl Lawson. I mean, Carl, like, you want to talk about players now, I don't see, like, is Carl Lawson on a milk bottle? I have not seen him. I seriously have not seen him. Yeah, I like the schedule too, Billy. But look, I feel this team, you have to win in Denver. You have to win in Denver. Denver's a bad football team. They're a bad defense. I think you can slow. Russell Wilson can't run. This is this is a game the Jets have to win. And if they win, I feel a lot better. Look, if they lose to the Eagles, fine. Get me to the bye at 2-4. Because then I can at least divide up the remaining games and have a goal of, okay, can the Jets get to 500 by this point? Can the Jets get to 6-6, hopefully? Can the Jets get to 7-7? Because, look, if you win 8 or 9 games and you're into weeks 17 or 18, you have a shot. And that's what they need. You have to have a shot. Yeah, I don't think you're getting a second round pick. I don't think this is mad, and I would take basically a bag of footballs at this point. I don't think so. Oh yeah, great point, Melvin. 15 Garrett Wilson targets. Yeah, just throw Garrett Wilson the ball. Throw Garrett Wilson the ball. If he gets tired, run the ball to Brees Hall, and then when he's back, throw the ball to Brees. Throw it back to him. Look, he is an elite wide receiver. He is showing you why, and I think that is why there's so much frustration with him, because I really do believe he was going to ascend to that upper echelon. I mean, did you see the body control? Like, I've not seen a Jet receiver do that, where not only does he go vertically, horizontally catch the football, but make sure to keep his thigh and feet in bounds along the sideline. He was unbelievable there. Yeah. Make sure Aaron's there every week, guys. Make sure every week's there. The fumbles on Zach, but the snap wasn't ideal, and Lakin blocked the wrong guy. Yeah, that was a bad one. It was not a good fumble for Zach, but the fact the D line was there so fast was also bad too. Lakin whipped on it. Connor McGovern didn't have a great snap. I think it was more on Lakin, but again, it's a terrible turnover. Feels like dad is home and Rodgers is there for the team. He's not the Bears' dad. Yeah. That 70-point hole really hurt us. Hope we can play from. Yeah, the Jets need to get a lead, guys. Like, you cannot be playing from behind every game. Like, that is freaking ridiculous. Do you see the ball fake did on the TD? Never saw him do that. That was Rodgers. Yeah, like, again, Rodgers is a good influence. He's taking tips from Rodgers. And now my other hope is, I don't know if Rodgers is going to be around the building every day, but to me, this is a big sign of how invested Rodgers is in this team for next year and how invested he is in making this team better, because he could have easily just stayed in California. And I do think some Jet fans would have loved it. But again, he's recovering. He came on crutches and basically is supporting his team. And I do think that's a boost. Now, will he travel to Denver? I'm not sure. But if he's even around, he doesn't have to be at the facility every day. But if he's around the facility like once or twice a week just to talk to Zach, go over this film with Zach, I think that's going to be huge, because you have a quarterback giving him advice where, like, I think Nathaniel Hackett can instill great knowledge in him, but it's different when you're talking to someone that's done the craft, plays the way you do, and understands how to see the field. Yeah, Tibman was another great pick. I love the pick at the time. Like, I was actually debating with the Jets to trade up for him, but I love the pick, and he's worked out really good. Room for to get done. So many look. If he throws 3 picks next week, it's going to come right back, Luis. Like that, it's going to happen. So again, he's buying. This is what you need to do, Zach. Continue to build, buy time. Hey, Melvin, it was a good game though, right? I mean, that was kind of the point, because I was thinking it was going to be 30-0 maybe at halftime, the way the first 3 drives went. So, like, maybe I should start playing again. Like, I don't get all the love for Taylor Swift. Like, again, maybe it's because I had a bad experience with her that I don't really love her, but that to me was basically, I don't get the love affair for her. And again, like, if I'm a football fan, I'd be annoyed how expensive tickets are just so you have people trying to get a glimpse of Taylor Swift at a freaking football game. Yeah, look, it's great that they're hanging with them. It's good to see that, but look, you need to get wins. This team needs to get wins. Hey, if you get a 3rd round win, third round pick, man, Junior, sign me up. I'm taking that to the freaking bank, man. Not Jeff fan, but Hall couldn't be stopped yet. Wasn't more. Yeah, I don't get it. Ram, I don't get it. Also, nice car. Is that a? Try to see. Is that a? I'm trying to see. Is that a Civic? I think that's a Civic. That's a nice car. We just want one last shot. Yeah, that's the thing with the whole. And this is my final point for this game. It's going to be incredibly frustrating with these referees, because the Jets didn't get a shot. If you were a Jet fan and the Jets couldn't win this game, but they had a shot, yeah, it would sting. It would hurt, but at least you knew the Jets had their chance. The Jets didn't get their chance. They were robbed. And look, as much as this is great for the Chiefs, Jets fans and football fans are robbed, because you could have had a great game. You could have had a fair game. You could have had a game that went down to the wire, but instead you had the guys in stripes taking over the game late. Look, refs are going to make mistakes. I get it. But the thing that infuriates me is this happens over and over and over again. And like I said earlier, it's the mechanics of a call. When I'm a referee, the second the foul happens, I'm throwing the flag because not only am I signaling there's a penalty, but more importantly, that flag is marking the spot of the foul. The fact that they kept that flag in for seconds and then we're throwing it during a pick is a terrible look and is a terrible call. You have to be, especially in that point in the game, you have to be convicted without a shadow of a doubt in your mind that that was a penalty. If you have to think, was that maybe, don't call it. Don't call it. Many fans complained were seemingly heard the Jets improved. Maybe we can get Cook bench. Yes, boycott activity. That's our next goal. Bench Dalvin Cook. Cook. Look, yeah. Hey, Melvin, you got a little chair. You can go spend on some Powerball tickets this week. Maybe, hedge that investment a little bit, my man. That's good. At least someone got the cover. Yeah, that I think you're going to see that eventually. Boycott. There's going to come a point like, look, during a game, I wouldn't do it, but if it's the fourth quarter and it's within a 2-possession game under 5 minutes and there's a flag, what I would do is kind of what the XFL does, which I think is brilliant, where you have a sky judge or a sky official, and it doesn't have to consume a lot of time, but you have like another referee or two up in a booth with all the monitors who can maybe pause the game for 30 seconds. And if they see a discrepancy, can change the call. Like, that's how I think it needs to change. And I do think that we have the technology that, again, there's so much riding on these games. There's so much money riding on these games. You can't have this happen. You can't. Yeah, we could have scored more points at any time, then we don't have to worry about. Look, it shouldn't have come down to, but again, the Jets didn't get that opportunity late. Should they have scored earlier, 12 years? Sure, but yeah, Cook can't cook. Yeah, he's cooked. Do you think the NFL and gambling? Look, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I really don't. I just think it was a bad call, a poorly timed call, and unfortunately, it's going to happen. You're going to get a statement, NFL officiating. Oh, we reviewed the call from the Jets game. It turns out it wasn't a defensive holding. And okay, great. Well, you're going to go back and restart the game at that point, give the Jets another shot? No, because it's over. It's like the Trey Junkin play with the Giants in the wild card years ago, where he had the bad snap on the field goal and they threw the play down the field, and basically the Giant player was tackled, and it was such the blatant pass interference, but they ruled an ineligible receiver down the field. So the game was over. However, when they looked at the replay and looked at the video camera for 2 seconds, they were like, oh, wait a minute. He was an eligible receiver. That would have been pass interference. That would have extended the game and also gave the Giants another chance. And then I'm trying to remember who was I think it was Marchucci, who was the coach of the 49ers at the time. Yeah, they asked him like the next day, well, what do you think about the Giants? The ref said that the calls are. It's like, oh, well, because again, his team won. He didn't care. They were going to restart the game. So, but again, guys, a frustrating loss, a lot of emotions out of this. We'll talk about more of it later this week. We'll preview the Bronco game coming up. But look, a lot of positives from this Jet game. But at the end of the day, it's incredibly frustrating to see this team lose. I guess it wasn't as bad as many of us expected. You saw a lot of fight. You saw his team come together. You saw Zach Wilson play better. So a lot to take out of this game. But the biggest thing is, look, take this momentum into Denver. You want to make the Jet fan happy, you win in Denver. I keep saying this team has to be 2-4 by the bye. Could you make a run if they're 1-5 at the bye? Sure, but it's going to be a lot harder. Beat the Broncos. They're not a good football team. Sean Payne was ripping your team in training camp before you even played a game. Go out and kick their teeth in. Go out and make a statement. Go out and beat the Broncos. You lose to the Eagles, oh well. Be 2-4. Be 2-4. Have Zach trending upwards. Have this offensive line get more cohesion. Breece Hall get more touches. Be trending upwards as you go to the bye. Even if you lose to the Eagles, be 2-4, but trending upward. That's the goal of this team. And if they can't do that, this is going to be a long season. But they have to win next week in Denver. We'll talk about more of that. We'll make sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe for more of the latest on the New York Jets and the content about the New York Jets. Give us a comment. If you're joining us after the live stream, please leave any questions for next time. I'll be glad to answer them. Any Jet videos you want me to make, of course, let me know. And again, I'm busier now, guys, with my new schedule. I was going to ask you, do you want me to do some videos at night? I can do like 7 or 6 o'clock at night. I know that might be late for some people, but if it works, please let me know. I was also tossing around some Saturday afternoon ideas. Again, I don't know how busy you guys are on Saturday afternoon or midday, but if you're available, I'll make the videos and I'd love to talk to you. But again, guys, thanks so much for joining us here. We'll see you next time on Rich Sports Talk.